Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos and he's Bill Rice Jr. as we start a Thursday on our show. And of course, Pike Liberal Arts did what everybody expected them to do, was win, as they won 2 games last night on their home field, and they now move on to the championship game in Montgomery, Alabama, at historic Patterson Field.
That's the headline. Pike Liberal Arts going back for which will be its 4th consecutive state championship is what they'll be playing for. This is their 5th consecutive time making the state finals. So the Dothan Eagle had a good story this morning. Pike was in the finals in 2017, lost.
Yeah.
They won in 2018. They won in 2019. They would have won in 2020, but COVID canceled the season. Yeah. So put an asterisk by that one. 2021, last year, they won. So they've definitely got 3 straight state championships. They'll be going for 4. Amazing. But this is no gimme because Pike Liberal Arts is not the #1 team in the AISA. The team they're playing from Phoenix City is the #1 team. And that this team is, Pike has played them twice. Who was it? Glenwood?
Yeah, Glenwood Academy of Phoenix City.
They've split. Glenwood beat Pike at Glenwood, and Pike beat Glenwood in Troy. So it's never easy, even if you're dominant as Pike Liberal Arts, but at least they're in a position to do it.
And again, what a pitching performance by a young man who needs no introduction.
We better introduce him, Drew Nelson.
Drew Nelson. And of course, Drew Nelson comes in and pitches he pitches pitches a shutout, but had to come in. And they relieved him with 1 pitcher,
one batter
left, and that was Lee, the center fielder, and he struck out. He popped out. They popped out foul ground to their shortstop and won the game.
Well, Drew Nelson, I've told his coach and everybody else that he needs to be a feature story in Sports Illustrated or on ESPN, what he's done his last 3 starts. Let's go back about 2 weeks ago. His last regular season start was against Lee Scott. He pitched a no-hitter shutout, but the headline there was he struck out 18 batters in a row. All 18 outs were by strikeout. Okay, so that's pretty good. Then the next game was in the playoffs against Clark Prep, and he pitches, I think, 5 innings. So he gets 15 outs. Well, 10 of those were by strikeouts. So in 2 games, he had 28 strikeouts.
Oh, boy.
Well, yesterday he's playing in the semifinals against one of the best teams in the state of Alabama, Bessemer Academy. He gets 20 outs. He almost pitches 7 innings, 6 2/3 innings. Of those 20 outs he got, 17 were by strikeout. So Mike, before the show, Mike and I tallied it up. In Drew's last 3 starts, going 17 2/3 innings, he has struck out 45 batters in 17 innings, ladies and gentlemen. And I think he has given up. I think he pitched a no-hitter against Clark. I might be wrong.
Oh yeah,
that game was 10-run rule.
Yeah, that's right, 10 runs.
But my guess, I think in the last 3 games he's given up 2 hits and 0 runs. So he has yet to give up a run. He's only given up 2 hits, and the most amazing thing is he struck out 45 batters in 17 innings.
And I tell you, there were a lot of heroes in that game last night. In fact, at the plate, Nelson was outstanding too. Had he not?
That's true. Let's brag on Drew, but it's a team effort. And Jeff Coat pitched a great game in the first.
He sure did.
Pike won the first game, I think, 13-3. So that was
the 10-run rule, and Jeff Coat was outstanding.
And then you had a couple of guys. A lot hit a home run, and then 2 guys hit home runs. It was a team effort. Yeah. And then the second game was 4-0, so they needed a good, strong, dominating outing by Drew.
And there, Bessemer had an outstanding pitcher in his own right, and I tell you, he pitched an outstanding game. He got in a little bit of trouble in the first inning, and Pike was able to score a few times, and it turned out that's all they would need. But but at the same time, this young man from Bessemer, really 6'5" kid, he really was outstanding in his own right. But I tell you, well-coached, well-disciplined Pike Liberal Arts team is heading now for the championship game this Wednesday morning. They say morning, so that's when it's going to play, from historic Patterson Field in Montgomery, where we've seen many state championships.
We've seen Pike win them there. We've seen Charles Simpson win them there.
Sure have, and it's been a very great field for all these Troy teams and to play on.
Well, let's everybody go up. I mean, this is the Lakers versus the Celtics in their heyday type series. To see Glenwood 34-3, I think, versus Pike for all the marbles. Neither team is the only losses to Alabama teams that either team has suffered has been to the other. In other words, Pike Liberal Arts has not lost to another Alabama team, and both of these schools play teams from several states too. And Pike Liberal Arts has played public school teams from other states.
They've had a great year, and of course now it comes down to a chance to win 4 in a row or 5 in a row. What is it?
Well, it's 4 in a row technically.
Yeah.
It would be 4 in a row. There was that Pike Liberal Arts was dominating when COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
Ended up with the season canceled in 2020. So let's say it's almost certain that Pike Liberal Arts would have won that one, but you don't know.
But it was an all-out a great effort, and we could go down the whole list of starters and players that made an impact on the game. And boy, it was
good crowd.
Big crowd, and they didn't go anywhere. I mean, in between games, they didn't get out of their seats. They stayed there and want to make sure they had their seats.
Well, you're seeing history made. This dynasty, Pike Liberal Arts baseball program, that's it. It is one of the great dynasties in Alabama high school sports history.
In fact, Bill, I saw people last night that I haven't seen in years. Of course, I tell you, Ramage Jr. can he can promote a program pretty well, and he was a public address announcer, and on numerous times he recognized people, and one of them was Delaney Kirby, the great one, who was there on hand to see this great effort by their baseball team at Pike. And I noticed that Mr. Burkett,
Coach Ward was probably there.
Well, I didn't see Coach Ward, but I saw Mr. Burkett, the headmaster, who does a super job. I'm afraid he doesn't get as much applaud as he should get. He does an outstanding job as headmaster at Pike Liberal Arts. And
he once worked for the Troy Citizen for one Bill Rice Jr.
Oh, really? Are you serious?
A young college. Yeah. He was a cub reporter in college.
And he was from Greenville, Alabama, wasn't he?
Did a great job.
Yeah. I'll tell you somebody else that was recognized. Believe it or not, Ponder was recognized. Said that,
he was there?
Yeah. He was at the game, and I'm sure they still appreciate all the things
they better.
He did. Yeah.
He helped get it. Well, Coach Austin got it going, and then Coach Ponder built it up even more, and now Rush Hickson is taking it to Saban-esque levels.
I didn't know I'd be wearing orange and blue today, but I just the way it happened. and you're wearing the red this morning, and of course we've got a good show for you. We look forward to talking to Billy Hickson, who's going to fill us in on how things went, and some of the individuals that had great nights, and I tell you. A unselfish bunch of patriots. They're just an outstanding team. And let's say this: if my buddies and my friends, and I got a bunch of them from Phoenix City, if they are able to win this thing over Pike, they have a sure big effort ahead of them if they're gonna beat this Pike team.
I'm still in awe. Wish I was still a sports reporter and I could be doing stories on Pike Liberal Arts and Drew. But I'm going to count them up right here. Outs, 18, 15, 20. You go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to be doing some math.
I know that his stats are unreal. And, you look at... and there comes the call coming in here. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Pike does it, Mike. They win again, and this time another great pitching performance by both their starting pitchers.
Here's what I was doing, some quick math. I tell my Maggie and my kids, math is important. Learn it.
Especially your A, B, C, D, E, F, Gs.
Here's against Lee Scott, Pike Liberal Arts played 6 innings, so that was 18 outs in that game.
Yeah.
Against Clark Prep, they played 5 innings, so that was 15 outs in that game, right? You multiply it, that's 3. Against Bessemer, they played 7 innings, so that was 21 outs, but they took Drew out before the final batter. So that was 20 outs that he got in that game. So Drew has, as a pitcher in the last 3 games, has gotten 53 batters out. Of those 53 batters, 45 of them have been by strikeout.
Oh, man.
What is that?
How many did he strike out yesterday?
17 out of 20 outs.
Yeah, out of 20 outs.
Did they take him out in the last for the last batter to give him a curtain call?
No,
he got tired and he started walking some people. And
Mike, it was an emergency. To tell you the truth, he actually ran out of gas, and he was going to have a hard time throwing strikes. He was up high.
How many? What was the final score of that game?
4-0.
4-0.
Okay.
He pitched a 2-hitter after back-to-back no-hitters. I don't know. Somebody got a calculator. Divide 53 into 45. It's easily over 90% of his outs over the last 3 games have been by strikeout.
Yeah. He has been.
So what was the score in the Jeffco game?
Jeffco
13-3. 10-run rule.
Wow.
And let me tell you, Jeffco can throw smoke too, and he was very impressive too. Those 2 pitchers.
I think he threw a 4 or 5 hitter.
Yeah, that's right. He pitched.
Well, thank goodness there was a Troy Cable Today in L.A. jinx for Coach Hickson when he came on the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, we televised it on Troy Cable. Both games were televised, and there was a huge crowd at the game, and then at the same time, you could have watched it if you were in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Who did the game? The doctor and the Brookins kid?
No, I don't know. I think that this guy that does it for Troy Cable. I think he did the play-by-play, and
you know who else
didn't listen to
I hadn't thought about that. It's on
Probably.
Facebook. Anybody can watch it.
Yeah,
they can watch it in Phoenix City.
Yeah,
they can be scouting.
They can. Let me tell you this: they can watch it in Los Angeles, California, under the sign TC2.
Well, could you see some scouts at the game?
Yeah, the Auburn. There was an Auburn coach there, and he said he told the guy that was talking to him later on in the game, and said, I saw pretty much what I needed to see. He said a long time ago. so they knew they got a gym. And
well, you know, Drew. I just moved back to Troy a couple of years ago, but he's been pitching for the varsity since 8th grade, so he's been doing this for a while.
And well, I know this. I did a game with Drew on the mound as an 8th grader in Tuscaloosa against Tuscaloosa Academy, and that was in the semifinals of the state championship. And he went on and starred during that series and as an 8th grader.
I've never heard of that 8th grader. I've heard of that.
That's when Mike Amos had a bad fall at the ballpark.
Yeah, Mike Amos had a fall, and I told those folks from Tuscaloosa next time I was up there, and it was just a year later, was should I sue you now or later?
Oh God!
Because I bummed up my knee pretty bad that game, but
well,
I'm being
happy
facetious.
Cinco de Mayo today. I'm sure a lot of the great Mexican restaurants in Troy will be packed and full tonight, celebrating their independence.
All right. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo, and then yesterday was May the Force be with you.
Why is the Force be with you yesterday?
May the 4th is Star Wars Day.
Why is May 4th Star Wars Day, though?
I guess it's just May the 4th.
Oh, May the 4th. I get it. It's like a play on the words. I get you. I got you.
Yeah, they were celebrating it in Panama City Beach yesterday. I was watching the news. A lot of people dressed up in Star Wars characters, actually.
Has anybody watched the show Better Call Saul? It's one of my favorite shows. It's
I've watched a little bit of a few episodes here and there. I know it's really good.
Well, it's a prequel of Breaking Bad, which is the all-time greatest show ever. But the guy's name is Saul Goodman. You know where that comes from? It's not his real name. He changed his name, Saul Goodman. He would tell people several times, "It's all good, man." Saul Goodman. It's all good, man. Somebody says something, he says, "Oh, it's all good, man." Saul Goodman.
Again,
he plays a lawyer on that show, doesn't he?
Yeah, a unique lawyer.
Of course, we've got the championships of the Alabama independent schools this week, next week, and they said, "Why did you say Wednesday morning?" Well, to my knowledge, that's when the game's going to be held, and I don't know the actual.
You want to go? We went last year. You want to go again this year?
Oh yeah, we definitely want to. Be an excellent thing. Excellent. Here comes a call coming in right now.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill, this is Billy Hickson. How y'all doing?
Hey, Billy. We enjoyed talking to Coach Hickson the other day.
They're starting They're starting to dance in the streets of Old Pike Liberal Arts. Is that right?
No, don't jinx us. It's not.
Yeah, I may lose you. I mean, I'm headed into Troy for a meeting, so I'm not gonna have a lot of time. But
tell us what was the high points for you were yesterday. What jumped out at you?
I think both the pitching and hitting were really good. Second game, of course, the pitching was outstanding, and we got some timely hits and scored some runs, and got enough to win.
I tell you what, they had a real good pitcher, didn't you think?
Yeah, both of those guys were advertised as good, and we hit the first one a lot better than he'd been hit all year. And then the second one, I don't know what he was throwing, but we were popping the ball up a lot. We was getting under it. And
yeah.
There was a lot of high fly balls.
I tell you what, that kid in the second game knew how to pitch. I mean, he pitched, was able to pitch around your batters a little bit.
Yeah, he was. He didn't give in, didn't give them anything good to hit. It was just a good baseball game, and it was, all the way to the end. You get the bases loaded with their number 2 or 3 guy up to bat. One swing of the bat, and it's a different ball game. And like you said, Drew threw really good and got a little tired, and Darrell Lee came in and got the last out for him.
I really, as good as Drew is, and and his stats are just phenomenal. I believe he had just completely run out of gas, and I don't think he could have thrown many more strikes. I really don't. You know, he was wild high. You know what I mean?
He was about the 6th inning. He lost his legs, and we talk about the legs being the most important part of the defense.
Yeah,
it was fighting with you, and you know, he had a 1-2 count on the pinch hitter that went in, and thought sure he was going to get him, and just couldn't get that kid out, and then he walked another batter, and you could see that, he needed to come out.
And he was just simply brilliant until that last out. And you know what? Lee came in and he mowed him down, the batter that needed to be out, and they win the game.
Did Bessemer bring a pretty good crowd?
I couldn't tell who was who, really. There was so many people. That's one of the biggest crowds I've seen there. It was packed, no doubt. And but they came there to win. They wanted to beat us really bad.
I got to talk to a lot of the I was able to move around quite a bit, and I was able to talk to a lot of their people, very nice people, and of course they knew what was in front of them. It seemed like they knew enough about Drew and Drew and who was our other pitcher?
Jeffcoat.
Jeffcoat, who pitched. He pitches brilliantly, and it only gave up 3 runs against a very good baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was outstanding.
I hope they keep on pitching one more series.
In fact, they'll probably do the same thing. They'll probably keep the same rotation, don't you think?
I would imagine they would. I'm not sure, but I don't know why they would change.
Yeah.
When do they play the championship? Next Wednesday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah. So do you know what time that'll be?
10.
10 o'clock in the morning. Why are they doing that? Why are they playing so early in the morning?
I don't know. That's something I've asked every year. It could be a scheduling conflict with Patterson Field. I'm just not sure.
I understand.
It looks like they would make it 5 and 7.
Yeah.
So more people could make it.
I know.
Billy,
they won't play a double header though in the championship. They'll play one game and they come back and play the next day. Is that the way it works?
No, it's a double header. Then the F game will be the next day at 11.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
All
I
right.
don't know why they always do a double header in the championship game.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do that everybody does. The
Billy,
series like that.
Billy, what I want you to do now is, and there were a lot of stars and a lot of great efforts by Pike's whole team, but you start from first base and go around the horn, and I'll add to it.
Well, starting at first base, you had Skylar Kidd. He's been hitting good all year for us. He had a hit or two yesterday, I think. But,
well, he missed one, and he went all the way to the center field wall. was one of the first that I recognized he hit. It was an out, but it was a long out.
Yeah, we had several of those that was just shy of going over. But then at second base, had K.C. Bradford.
And he had a big hit early in that game. He had didn't you think? A big hit early.
Yeah.
That's Dr. David Bradford's son, right?
That's right. And then you go around the shortstop, at Case Newbanks. He didn't have a lot of. He had one really good hit, but the second baseman climbed the ladder and just robbed him.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this.
Walked a lot.
Their shortstop and their second baseman were good. They were really good. And And let me tell you this, I've said it 100 times, I reckon. How in the world does Troy University not see what a talent this shortstop at Pike is, and and it turns out, Michael, that Georgia Southern's gonna have him, and I guarantee you he's gonna be a big time player too. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Well, we talked about that before.
Yeah, he's going to be good, but, you know, Troy was kind of in their transition period.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where Casey wanted to go, to Georgia Southern. He had some ties there with a coach. And
boy, he's a winner all the way. He's hard nosed. You know, I was extremely impressed with him and he made some big. Even that last out, he made a good play on that last out.
Oh yeah, that ball was hit high, and there for a minute I thought he had lost it.
Me too. I did too. It would probably would have emptied the bases. Probably if it had dropped.
It would have, because it was 2 outs and they were running.
Yeah, that's right.
People don't realize, you know, how hard that catch was,
Yeah.
but he made it. And you go on third base. In the first game, Jaden Jordan played third base, and he had a heck of a game.
Let me tell you something. Was he number 6?
He was.
I'd almost give him a Most Valuable Player award. He was outstanding.
He was. You know, he came up big for us last year in the championship game, made the whole tournament team, and I hope he seems like he gets hot at the end of the year.
Well, let me tell you something that he can do that nobody else, I don't think, can do. He can fly. He can run. I mean, he showed his speed several times.
Yeah, he got a triple that I think, and then he got a home run.
Oh yeah.
So he had a great game. And just go to the catcher, which is John Lott. He also had, I think, his first home run of the year.
He
had a better time.
Yeah, it went over that giant wall and left, and that wall held up pretty good. It was a few home runs, but you know, it could have been worse. You know.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people know, but a lot of people may not know how good a catcher John Lott is. He catches those pitchers, and you know, Drew was clocked yesterday at 94.
Oh,
yeah, I was there and I saw it clocked at 94.
And those pitches he throws high, and he gets up and catches them. You know, that takes a pretty special talent to do that pitch after pitch, and then he'll come back with the next pitch, his change up, and might be in the dirt, and he blocks that up. You know, he just.
Now somebody told me that he would have been a star for Arrington. Is that right? He was at Arrington and came to Pike. Is that right?
Yeah, he came to Pike, I think, in 8th grade, 9th grade.
Oh, okay. He'd been there, honey. Okay.
Yeah, and so he's done a great job behind the plate.
All right. How about your right fielder? Tell us about him.
The right fielder in the first game was Drew.
Yeah.
And we've done talked about him. Center fielder was Darrell Lee.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's a great defensive center fielder.
And, you know, it didn't take but one bat of it for me to think that, hey, Lee could, he can handle himself as a pitcher, don't you think?
He does. You know, he hadn't got to pitch a lot since the playoffs started, because of the 1-2, and we, you know, swept each series. But during the year, he threw a lot of good innings for us. But it's good to have him, you know, as your number 3 for sure. And then you move over to left field, Arden Weiser.
Yeah, man, he's a pretty good player.
He had a big night at the plate.
He sure did. He was impressive.
And I've said this before, Arden is probably one of the hardest workers on that team. He really puts in the work.
And can hit he can hit a baseball. He just makes contact every time he goes up to the plate.
He does, and that's not, you know, an accident. He does the work, and it's good to see it. success at the plate.
Well, I tell you what.
Well, we got the championship coming up. Pine Love Arch, Glenwood. Out of all the Pike Love championships in baseball, do you think this will be the toughest test that Pike Love will face, Billy, out of all the teams they played in the championship game?
It'll be, in my opinion, number 2. I think the Morgan series.
Oh yeah.
That year that they were supposed to win it. By us beating them that year, that was a big upset. In my opinion.
Yeah. If you'll remember, heck, they got the 10-run rule on Pike in the first game. So that was a great comeback right there.
Yeah, and these two teams are two really good teams, really even teams. Now they may 10 run us, and I'll be surprised if they do, but it's just going to be a really good series. Neither team, we've played twice, but neither team has seen the other's ace pitcher.
Oh, really?
So I don't know what. Glenwood's got a pretty good pitcher, I know. They may have 2. So, it's going to be I think it's going to be a defensive battle, and the team that makes the most errors or whatever is going to lose.
Well,
everybody's on like they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
A funny story, when we played Glenwood at their place, and they beat us 7-2, I think, and their coach is Coach Fanning, who is class act, if there's ever been one. But he was talking to Ross and Rush after the game, and they played against them. They know each other pretty well, but he said, I appreciate that confidence booster y'all gave us, but now I got to go get these kids back down out of the heavens and get them back on ground, because they don't know what y'all got in the dugout.
So you're saying Drew has not pitched against this team, so they haven't seen him all year round.
They've never hit against Drew.
Yeah.
Nor Press.
Well, did Russ do that on purpose?
Yeah, and Coach Fanning did the same thing.
So there's a reason he didn't pitch him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he just didn't want them to see them, because there was a good chance this matchup was going to happen.
Hey, that's really 3D chess right there. Pretty smart playing the long game.
Let's don't take this for granted. 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Mm-hmm. That's major league fastball.
And one of the best changeups in high school or college. I was told this, that Auburn has not seen a changeup like this kid's got. All right, so with all of these things.
The kid that had the best changeup that's ever pitched in Troy was Chase Whitley, probably the Troy pitcher that ended up pitching in the pros. You remember him?
Yeah.
The kid from Ranburn. That was his pitch.
Yeah, the changeup. You're right. But also he threw the curveball quite a few times, and I was talking to his dad, and he said, I said, has he thrown his curveball much? He said 4 or 5 times. I reckon.
He was relying more. He threw more fastballs last night, because they wasn't catching up to it. They was just way behind on it, and when he threw his changeup, they were out front on it too. So he was on until he got a little tired. But it's fun sitting there watching it. There's no doubt.
You've got
this next year.
If you've got the scouts that are watching him, I think he's a big Auburn man, and I don't blame him for going to Auburn. But these scouts,
his Auburn coach was there last night watching him.
Yeah, I think he's going to Auburn, and I'm glad he's going to Auburn. He'll have a great career at Auburn and great memories at Auburn, and he can still go to the pros after he's at Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
But my point is, if any scouts have been watching him the last 3 games, you tell me a pitcher in America that has been more impressive.
The next time that Auburn coach comes to Troy, he's going to be heading back to Auburn with a loss. from the Troy Trojans.
Yeah, the Trojans play them next Tuesday night. Troy plays Auburn, and you need to go ahead and get your tickets for that one because it's going to be a hard sellout. I'm thinking.
Maybe the Troy athletic department can get Drew Nelson to throw out the first pitch. I can fight
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that'll be the day before, won't it?
Oh, that's
I gotta go. I got a meeting at
Billy, will you please call us back
Before the game.
before they play the big game, because we want to know all we can get about it. It's going to be a great game, one of the best ever. And,
all right, we'll try.
Thank you, Billy. You too.
And I tell you, for a high school kid, and Billy, just say that we take full advantage of the situation with a great pitcher like Drew that can come in and create havoc at any time. As a pitcher, the second pitcher, but the first pitcher for Pike is also a very good pitcher. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Yeah, I feel bad for Charles Henderson High School. Those Jeffco boys grew up at Charles Henderson. I think played at Charles Henderson until maybe 10th grade, and then Darrell Lee, the center fielder, was a starter at Charles Henderson. And he was a freshman.
He would be a left-handed pitcher for him.
I feel really bad for Coach Smart, and especially my great friend Brian Meadows. If we would have had Jeffco as a starter at Charles Henderson and the Lee kids starting at Charles Henderson, they probably would have won 15 games, maybe at least.
And Mike, I talked to Meadows for a long time last night. I had a real good talk with him, and they're grooming a kid that lives right across the street from me. And
you talking about the Adams kid?
Yeah, the Adams kid. And you know what Brian said about Adams? He said, we're teaching him to be a pitcher. You know what I'm saying? Not an overpowering pitcher, but a pitcher. They can mix speeds, and they mix, and can throw the spots and so forth. And they really like this kid, his future at Charles Henderson High School.
He's a really good quarterback too.
That's what I'm saying, a good quarterback, but he's also a very good pitcher in baseball.
No, I didn't know that.
I think the Troy athletic department needs to get up with Lucky Martin and have the javelin missile quarterback.
Yeah.
Name, image, and likeness. Maybe we can set that up.
Boy, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's right. That's what Rice has been wanting all the time.
I mean, the quarterback's name is Gunner. I mean, what more can you ask for?
That's right.
That's right.
Gunner Watson. That's right.
I still like the Sanders truck line, but
it just goes to show you, and there's a lot of kids from Charles Henderson at that game last night. You could see them; they were wearing orange everywhere, and these guys have played with each other. They know each other so well, and it's one of them plays for Charles Henderson, the other one plays for.
They're friends, and you're pulling for the town.
Yeah, and boy, it was an impressive crowd. I just can't get over the support that the crowd gives this.
Well, I'm glad, because this is a baseball team that is special. I mean, it's been special for a long, long time. And the other thing is, they've kept it going. It's so easy to get complacent and cocky, and but they haven't. They've stuck to their business. Now they've got to do it one more game series, Mike.
Right. So I want to know what the over/under is. If you and Dad go to that game on Wednesday next week, y'all go to Martin. What would you say the over/under?
Well, let me tell you this: Martins will not be there. Did you know the headline?
Martin's is not open anymore?
Well, let me tell you this. I'm gonna throw some out at you.
I spent a guy up from Florida the other day. That
all right, Mike.
California, and he went to Martin.
Listen to this, and this really hurts me because I love eating there. City pulls Martin's license over taxes.
What?
That's right. They pull. Martin's has not been paying their taxes evidently, and they have closed the doors at Martin Restaurant.
How many years has that been open?
it's been since the early 40s, and the Montgomery City Council voted Tuesday.
Shocking.
Yeah, listen to this. Montgomery City Council voted Tuesday to strip Martin's restaurant of its business license for failure to pay city sales taxes.
Well, it'll be back up, and they'll pay them, and then.
Well, it says here the historic Cloverdale Meat and 3 restaurants specializes in fried chicken, sweet tea, and other southern staples. It's been a fixture for the city of Montgomery since the 1930s, regularly drawing.
That is so sad.
That's right.
Think about how long some of those people have been working there.
Exactly.
They'll get back open.
And hopefully they will. But
they did that one time with Chris's hot dogs. They got some bad public health scores.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising if you've been to Chris's. But for a couple of days they shut them down, but then they were back open.
And that delicious coconut pie, the best cornbread muffins you'll ever eat.
Man.
I don't think they compare with anybody else. In
I don't know. I mean, Red Schoolhouse has my favorite cornbread.
Yeah.
But of course, cornbread muffins, Martin's for sure. Now, number 1 hush puppy of all time is Mossy Grove.
Yeah, they are great hush puppies.
Yeah.
I like the cornbread at Red's Schoolhouse restaurant.
Oh yeah, well it had great chicken, but Martin's for years, and they used to have a relish that they had at each table. Do you remember that? The pickle relish. Oh, it was wonderful.
Martin's.
To me, it makes Martin great, but they don't have the relish anymore much.
Yeah, you have to ask for the pulley bones too when you go in there. I mean, if they give you 2 fried chicken breasts,
when you eat there, they give you 2 huge chicken breasts, so you're gonna take one of them home with you, pretty much.
Well, the games we can't go because the Pilot Arts game's at 10.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna have to eat lunch at the.
Until this came out, I would have played. One of the first things I thought about when they said the game's gonna be played in Montgomery at Patterson Field was, I could eat lunch at Martin's.
I know. Well, but we could also go to Dirk's. I
like it now. I like this place.
Old Cloverdale, Dirk's Filet and Vine.
And so
downtown, they did away with the Dreamland in Montgomery, didn't they? Downtown.
Yeah, they did.
Did they close? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they left it open that they might open back up, but I haven't heard they have. So
I know it.
They were another COVID victim. You know, how many businesses in America were closed that never opened again because of these lockdowns?
I'll tell you what, I always meet my big lawyer friend, the great Richard Calhoun. He works downtown. We go to Zaza, Italian restaurant downtown. It's great.
Oh, really? What's the name of it?
Zaza's.
Zaza's.
Yeah.
It's open for lunch. It's open for lunch too. They have unbelievable food.
Yeah, it's been good for a long time. I enjoyed that when I was up. That was the first restaurant that kind of opened in the alleyway that made the alleyway a hit, because Zaza's right away was a big hit.
Did you know something, Michael, and we never talk about this, but you know, as a kid, as a youngster, Richard Calhoun was, believe it or not, a outstanding pitcher in baseball. Do you remember that?
I bet he was.
And
what happened was his birthday was so late. You know, his birthday is April 17th. Yeah, let me get that right. Yeah, not April, August 17th, and then my wife's is August 16th, and then my daughter's August 19th. I always get these wrong. But Richard played a year behind in rec ball.
That's me too. That helped me. I was exactly.
Richard was like 6 foot tall, playing with a bunch of little.
And let me tell you something. If somebody would have worked with him, he had a fastball that wouldn't wait.
Yeah, he didn't have great control, but yeah, he could throw it.
Yeah, he could.
He probably hit about 15 home runs in Dixie Youth one year.
You know, I wasn't here.
All he had to do was make contact and it would go out.
I wasn't here. I moved to Troy in 7th grade, but I've heard a lot of stories about a guy in the class ahead of me, Dane Griswold.
Yeah, I remember
Ashley
him,
Griswold's big. He was a tight end on the state championship football team.
Yeah.
But apparently Dane was a terror in Dixie Youth baseball when he was little. He couldn't hit him. He had a Nolan Ryan fastball, and he hit like Babe Ruth numbers of home runs too. But then he didn't even play baseball in high school. But he was when he was 12 years old, he was awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of
the best story of that is Andy Blair. I mean, Andy Blair had I don't know how many no hitters in Dixie Youth and was written up in Sports Illustrated magazine.
That's
I mean,
right.
Andy ended up playing in high school, and was a good player in high school. But I mean, he was a star player when he was young.
And one of the reasons that he was a great baseball player, Michael, was his grandmama. No, was his grandmama Irma Blair. Irma Blair was a wonderful baseball girl, woman, grandmother, who supported those boys, and all of them were good players. His daddy was an excellent pitcher. In fact,
I remember Andy Blair. I remember him. He was on that Dixie Boys team that won the World Series. Al Renfro was on.
Bert, his older brother, was a good player too. Charles Henderson.
Oh yeah, but let me tell you this: the best one of them all was his granddaddy, and I tell you, he was a great pitcher as a youngster. As a 9th and 10th grader.
I'd have to go back and try to find out those numbers though, but I don't know how many no hitters he had.
I remember, yeah. Well, I tell you again, when you strike out 18 out of 18, 10 out of 15, and 17 out of 20, like Drew's done the last 3 games, that needs to be picked up by ESPN or the Athletic or Sports Illustrated.
I don't know how many.
Unfortunately, they just don't cover private schools. Like they will.
Well, our AL.com ought to do it, but they're so sorry. The Dothan Eagle will do it.
Yeah, in fact, they had you said they had an article in the Day's
paper. Great story on the series. So they had a reporter there.
Yeah. And I've read some of his stuff. He does a good job, no question about it. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back.
Our gigantic Mayday sale is here. Got $29? Yes. Get a new car. Got $29? Yes. Get a new truck. Just $29. Get you a new truck or car. Yeah. Or shop at PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I'm facing life in prison. It's all or nothing right now.
First-degree murder. Doesn't get much bigger than that.
See what it's like.
What happened that morning?
I shot my husband.
Did you keep pulling till the gun went click, click, click?
To face criminal trial.
I've spent 2 years of agony to defend myself.
My whole future depends on the outcome. This is a case I have to win.
We're all fighting to save your life.
Accused, guilty or innocent. New episodes Thursdays at 9 on A&E.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
It's Ford Truck Month. America, you know what to do. Now's the time to get after the best deals on Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 45 years straight. Also, great offers on Ford Ranger and the new Ford Maverick. Ford Truck Month is here, so let's get after it. Get 0 for 60 plus up to $1,000 bonus cash plus a no-charge 3-year Ford Protect Premium Maintenance Plan on F-150.
Right here. Right now. Got $29? Yeah. Get a used car, truck, minivan, SUV. You name it. That's right. Just $29. Get you a pre-owned vehicle during dollar days. All you need is $29 then. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
And that's good coffee. Appreciate Steve Kemp.
Steve Kemp making it for us.
Making the best coffee around.
Got a fancy coffee maker, too.
Yes, sir. And if you ever would like to come by and sit and watch us and join with us, we'd love that.
No, that would make me nervous if I had saw people out in the studio.
Well, we're turning in Rick and Bubba, where they have
Rick and Bubba. Yeah.
They have a gas light come sit on the couch and watch them do the show.
Yeah, that's right. I know Rick pretty well.
I want to say happy birthday to the great Steve Camp. I think it was his birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday to you.
Well, that old snicker, he didn't tell us. Happy birthday, Steve.
Steve, and you know what he did, Mike? He took off and went turkey hunting, so he's already had his birthday present. Did you get a turkey, Steve? No turkey, but he went turkey hunting. Isn't that right?
I could write I need to write a good feature story on Steve someday, like I did on you. Yeah, he has had an interesting life.
Oh yeah, no question. In fact, he could probably sit right here or outside in the back lot here, and probably call up a turkey. He's that good.
Yep.
But
I was looking at all these. We watch all these shows about multi-million-dollar homes like out in California and all over the country. My wife always loves to watch all these shows, and they were out in Los Angeles, and they were up on in the Hollywood Hills. And in the Hollywood Hills, they have problems with mountain lions. Isn't that hard to believe?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You can live out in Los Angeles, be up in the Hollywood Hills, and have a mountain lion coming to your property.
That's the truth, and we're talking about a big one.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
That grew up in the hills of a rocky.
I want to tell you one of the most amazing videos I've seen. Everybody has security cameras nowadays, and so you get some great videos on YouTube. There was a cougar or a mountain lion somewhere, probably in California, that was coming down the street, and there was a little 3-year-old toddler getting ready to get in the car or out playing in the driveway, and I think that mountain lion or something was coming at him. The family dog saw that mountain lion, and before that mountain lion could go for that child, it took off and attacked that mountain lion and really probably saved that child's life.
Was that something recently?
No, I don't know how. I mean, that's one of the most amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a dog not being smart and loving its owners and being brave.
I tell you what, it's a little scary. You got to pull up that video. It happened like last week. It's in outside of Gatlinburg in the Smoky Mountains. These two huge black bears get into a fight, and they said they knew both of the bears, I guess because they had maybe caught them before over the years. But both of these bears were like 500 pounds each, fighting each other. It was crazy. To know bears are that big up in the Smoky Mountains.
And you know the thing about a bear that's sort of scary is, when you're running from them, you can't climb a tree because they can climb a tree. So what do you do? And they're fast. A bear is fast.
You'll never believe how many times on like Bryce was talking about, everybody has cameras. They catch cameras of bear in Great Beach around trash cans.
Yep.
There's black bear in Great Beach. Isn't that hard?
And you don't live far, and you don't live far from the state.
State park, yeah.
State park, yeah.
Black bears.
Black bears and alligators.
Alligators are everywhere, and there are a lot of places in Alabama, but especially in Florida, they're everywhere.
I tell you what, I would much worry more about a bear than a alligator. Though I feel like an alligator, from all the shows I've watched, are not really super intelligent.
Well, whatever he is,
I tell you what,
he made me turn around and run. I tell you that.
I just came back from Disney World, and I stayed in the River Bayou Resort, which has a Louisiana swamp motif, and there are little swamps all around our hotel rooms. And it made me think. I mean, what was about 5 years ago though? An alligator killed a child at Disney World.
Oh gosh. Well, let's just say that the worst thing about an alligator is he lives in that completely black, all black water. It's not a clear water. So he could take a child or something like that underwater and you never see him again.
Well, there was some, one of these hurricanes we had in Louisiana recently, or Florida, I don't remember where it was, but some man went out there and the water had come up and brought a gator in his backyard, and that gator killed that old man.
I know they're bad about killing pets down in South Florida, I've always heard.
Yeah. But
I hear they're everywhere at Lake Eufaula. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that.
Yeah, there's definitely an area of Lake Eufaula has.
Oh yeah, they've got a lot of.
I'm not getting in the water if I think there's alligators. I'm an old Lake Martin person, and there's no. Thank goodness there's no alligators at Lake Martin. Or maybe there weren't back when we had a place.
But Eufaula's got some areas that are infested with alligators.
Auburn football lands a 4-star wide receiver from the transfer portal, so Auburn's got a player coming in from the ACC that will help out.
They needed one, no question about it.
Did you see the story about the top guy in the portal is a receiver for Pittsburgh that caught 100 balls last year?
Yeah, because their quarterback left, is that right?
That's right, and he's now in the portal, and he's a California kid, or he was in California, and the speculation is he might be going to USC, but when he was in California, he was reportedly working out with one Bryce Young, who was home visiting
yeah, you reckon so?
So you think Alabama could get this kid?
I think so. Well, I'll say this right now. I like where we're at. Auburn football coach Brian Harsin. How do you pronounce that last name?
Harsin.
Says Tuesday night in Montgomery that the Tigers' remaining off-season needs are defensive linemen, receiver, and secondary people. He said while talking with reporters at Auburn's Ambush alumni event at Wind Lakes Country Club, Harsin emphasized his main goal is to recruit players out of the transit portal. Can you believe that? Who aren't the right fit regardless of position. So that'll just go to show you that the portal is more important than recruiting athletes. It looks like.
Well, we've been saying it for a year. You got tape on these guys, not against other high school kids, little small high school kids, against college Division I competition. Yeah. So you almost know you can't go wrong. You know they're good when you get them out of the transfer portal. You know they can play.
All right, now explain this right here, Mike. But with it says, but with the transfer portal locked as of April 29th, players can no longer enter without having to sit out a year.
Yeah, you had to declare by May the 1st.
That's right. So
everybody that declared by May 1st can go anywhere they want to.
But that just because that means they open themselves up, and then they're almost like they're re-recruited. They make the rounds of all.
But it won't be any new players going to the portal route because they'll have to sit out a year.
So Troy should be good. The guys, Troy had about 4 or 5.
So Marshall and all those guys are okay?
All those guys are here, yeah.
Yeah, you breathe a sigh of relief.
But I've said that all the year. I said we've got to have a deadline. And evidently April the 29th was players can no longer enter without having to sit out a year. The second-year coach now has a better idea of what positions he needs to bolster. And,
it's gonna be interesting. Troy's got a spot at quarterback open. They've got offensive lineman Roger Schultz's son left, defensive end left that has scholarship. Who else? There was 2 wide receivers on scholarship that left. Troy's definitely got 4 or 5, maybe 6 scholarships open now.
Okay, well, I hope we can get somebody out of the portal.
They will.
Well, you got to get your numbers. You want to be at 85 scholarships.
And
when it's all said and done, I would imagine Summerall with his connections and at Kentucky all those years, and then he was at Ole Miss before, and then you got Joe Craddock who was at UAB and Arkansas and SMU. And then you got the Army coach. I don't think you're gonna have too many guys transferring out of Army to come to Troy, but. You got a lot of connections with these coaching staff on players.
Let me just say this: Troy's defensive coordinator that they brought in here looks like the real. He looks like the real deal because the defense. People tell me that watch the spring practice mostly that Troy's going to definitely be better on defense.
Well, I don't think the defense was the issue last year. It was just offense being consistent. Troy couldn't run the ball. We talk about it all the time. Troy just could not run the ball at all last year.
Yeah, they got to get some horses on the offensive line that are good players.
They got to find a way to somehow have balance. And I was hoping, that Troy would have a dual threat quarterback possibly as well, a guy that could run and throw.
Yep.
Troy hadn't had that dimension in years.
That would be good too. You're right. That's a good point. I mean, if you can run the ball and then you got a running quarterback and you got a good defense, you're in good shape.
But at the same time, he talks about all these things. But are you convinced about who will be the quarterback at Auburn next year? No.
I'm not. I was talking about Troy.
I know, but even at Auburn, are you convinced who will be their quarterback?
I don't think Finley will be the quarterback. I'll go ahead and say that. I'd be shocked if T.J. Finley was the quarterback at Auburn when you got to transfer.
I'll make a bet with you right now.
You got to transfer from Oregon and you got to transfer from Texas A&M.
I'll make a bet with you right now. Anybody want to take it for a cheeseburger at Bird's? It's going to be the Texas A&M kid that's going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I'll take that bet, and if I lose, I'll just charge it to that.
All right. Well, let me tell you this: he's been hurt, so they didn't really get to see him in the spring. So, and then with the Oregon transplant, or I call it transplant. I reckon you can call it transplant. That played at Oregon.
He actually never really saw the field.
Yeah.
He played at Hoover High School, though.
Yeah.
Oregon. A lot of people from Oregon have left.
I can't believe these guys didn't go to Miami and play for Cristobal down there.
Yeah, I know it. That sort of tells you something, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it just tells you that obviously, they took a lot for these kids to leave Alabama, leave the state of Alabama, and go to Oregon. I mean, that is a long ways away to play. I can't believe Bo Nix is all the way out.
All right. Well, I can't tell you this guy's name, but they've got a quarterback at Miami that they really like. Do you know the name, Mike?
I guess it's the guy that came in after King got hurt last year.
And they really like this guy.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I watched him in a few games.
Montgomery Catholic had a really good football team last year. A lot of Division I prospects. They whipped Charles Henderson easily.
Yeah, oh yeah, no question.
Well, if memory serves, they had a outside linebacker, some guy that had committed to Oregon on that defense. I don't know if he followed through with that or not, but Pike Road had a lot of D1 players.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
I was happy to hear that Coach Ponder used. God, it was a who's who at the bar. You had Brian Meadows there. You had Coach Ponder there. Had Mike Amos there.
Hey, Mike Amos was look. I had some good seats, and I talked to a lot of the Bessemer people, and they were nice people.
Well, I'm glad that, because last year there was some tension in the stands at the Pike Bessemer game. I'm glad that was not evident yesterday.
But it was sort of cut and dry that Pike had a great team this year, and that it was going to be a big uphill chance for Bessemer to
knock off the
May 5th, 2022. They're saying the first games of the year will be August 27th. On a Saturday, you'll have Vanderbilt at Hawaii. Probably will be a loss for Vanderbilt. Nevada at New Mexico State, Austin Peay at Western Kentucky, future opponent of Troy this year. UConn at Utah State. Utah State won the championship last year. Alabama play Utah State this year. Duquesne at Florida State. What a tough matchup for Florida State.
Golly.
Duquesne.
I didn't even know Duquesne had a football team.
I didn't either.
Florida A&M at North Carolina. Interesting game here. Nebraska at Northwestern in Dublin, Ireland.
Oh, me.
Wyoming at Illinois, Charlotte at Florida Atlantic, North Texas at UTEP. That's August 27th. You'll have
Now, when does Troy play its first game?
Troy's first game is September, I think, 2nd.
Yeah, okay.
This is the 4th. I have to look and see.
Isn't that at Ole Miss?
Yeah, at Ole Miss.
All right, now these are Saturday games. These are not Thursday night.
Those are Saturday games. August 27th. It's that week 0 that you've started to see in college football where teams play like the week before.
Yeah.
The season starts.
I'd like to go to the game in Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah.
Have you been to Ireland? You've been to Ireland, haven't you?
No, I haven't been to Ireland.
It's all about TV. teams are all trying to get on TV.
My parents went to Ireland, and a lot of people have been to Ireland. Everybody that's been to Ireland really likes it.
Oh, it's beautiful, I'm sure.
Troy plays September 3rd.
Yeah. Against Ole Miss in Oxford. Oxford, yeah.
Well, who told us they were going to take us over there? Will?
Will Matthews, yeah.
Man, that would be a great trip if all the gang could go over there, and
it would be a lot of fun, no question about it.
I hope we'll get some good deals, because I was looking at prices at the Gold Strike Hotel in Tunica, man. It's pretty expensive on a game day weekend.
Yeah. Well,
got the Trojan Tour coming up, Dad. You've been a part of these over
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Hits the road this spring and summer for 10 stops on the Trojan Tour. It'll start on May 14th in Troy, which is coming up really soon. Then after that, on May 16th, they'll head to Dauphin. On June the 2nd, they'll be in Greenville. June 13th, they'll be in Phoenix City. June 16th, they'll be in my new favorite place, Pensacola. June 18th, they'll be in Birmingham. Then they'll finish June 18th in Huntsville, June 21st in Enterprise, June 23rd in Fort Walton Beach, and then the last stop will be in Montgomery on August.
And you know, it's just sort of like one big pep rally after another.
Yeah, hitting all these towns are super important for the growth of Troy.
Sure is.
Yeah, you get to meet the coaches as well.
Yeah.
I went to some of those in Montgomery when I was living in Montgomery. Yeah. They were in the alleyway in at Dreamland, I think was where one of them was. No, or it was.
Yeah, the first one will actually be Friday. Announced on Friday, the Trojan Tour kicks off with a barbecue tailgate terrace event prior to the Troy Coastal Carolina baseball game. So that should be a big crowd.
Yeah. Wait a minute now. Repeat yourself on that. I don't. On
May 14th, they'll have a barbecue in the tailgate terrace before the Troy Coastal Carolina baseball game to start the Trojan Tour.
Well, I didn't know we played Coastal Carolina at home. I didn't realize that they were on our.
Baseball. That's a baseball game.
Yeah, baseball game. Yeah.
Yeah, is that the team that won the World Series a couple of years ago?
Yeah, but
it says the Trojan Tour will open with music, inflatables, and barbecue lunch beginning at 12 p.m. at Tailgate Terrace.
Okay,
Saturday, May 14th.
All right. So taking a look at Troy.
So that will not be this Saturday, but next Saturday.
That's right, next Saturday. Okay. And they plan on starting one of the games with UAB on the 17th. They're letting all the school crowds out all over the county, and they're gonna play UAB at 10:30 in the morning.
Hey, they're taking a page out of the book that the Montgomery Biscuits use to get. You know, they have these morning games, and the kids go.
All the elementary schools will be bussed in there, and it's going to be a crowded baseball facility.
My daughter Maggie had a field trip to learn something about water, groundwater. Maybe it was at the Arboretum, but they also went to Crosby Theater. And she said there were kids from the whole county there, and the reason I know that is because the person on the stage saying that when I'm going to call out your school, I want you to yell and cheer for your school, and there were kids from Pike Liberal Arts, Goshen, you know, all. And she said it was deafening when they called out Troy Elementary School.
That's great.
There'll be some good locations for the Trojan Tour, though, because you'll start at Real Pace Field, like we mentioned, and then in Dauphin it'll be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Greenville. It'll be at the Greenville Country Club. Phoenix City will be at Troy's Phoenix City campus. But once you go to Pensacola, it'll actually be at the Blue Wahoo Stadium.
Yeah,
And if you buy a ticket, you can go to the pep rally and hear the coaches inside the stadium. And then our buddy Jeff Dugas, the great knee doctor, with Andrews up in Birmingham, you know, he also has a whiskey vodka distillery in Birmingham, Alabama, and the Trojan Tour will stop at his distillery, Dread River Distillery.
Awesome.
In Birmingham.
Yeah.
On Saturday at 12 o'clock.
Well, you know, this weekend Troy's got a very important 3 games at Georgia Southern, and so everybody's looking forward to that this weekend, and then coming back at playing Auburn on May the 10th in Troy, and that's
so we got games of Auburn and UAB coming
that's
up.
That's right, yes, sir. And
you just hope that good weather on that Tuesday night. Get that Auburn game in. If Troy can beat Auburn, he's already going to make the NCAA tournament. That'd be a huge win for Troy.
May the 10th, Auburn at home, and it should be a huge crowd there. And then, of course,
I hope they,
then Coastal Carolina coming into the town.
Great games. Everybody, that's an awesome games coming up for Troy baseball.
And then UAB to end the regular season.
Everybody get your Troy baseball fix at the most important part of the year. But I was thinking about Drew Nelson is going to Auburn. I hope Auburn and Troy usually play 1 or 2 games every year.
Right.
Maybe so maybe Drew in the future will be able to pitch against
play home
Troy.
and home. I bet you'll see that before it's all over. There's no question about it. And
Auburn is 31-14. They're having a great year.
They are. Mike, 2 of the guys I know pretty well. Well, one of them played football at Auburn and played a little baseball too. And he's back coaching now.
Gabe Gross?
Gabe Gross.
You know Gabe? I
know Gabe real well. I know his dad real well.
Yeah.
I played golf with him several different times. Gabe.
Bud Casey was good friends with that family.
Yeah, Bud was real close to the.
Yeah, good.
And
nice folks, aren't they?
And then a former Auburn. Don't you know? Let's just say this. You're recruiting an athlete, and the first guy you meet is a former Hall of Famer or a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's
Tim Hudson.
Tim Hudson. So
who played high school baseball at where? Glenwood, who Pike
That's right. Played at Glenwood Academy, and up until 2 years ago, he was a coach at Glenwood. He was a volunteer coach at Glenwood.
Was he really?
Yeah, it was. Pike beat him too.
Well, the Grosses had, I guess they still own it, but they used to be big sponsors of you and Bud's show. They had Trailer World. I guess they still own Trailer World, don't they?
They still own Trailer World, but what they own that they do real well with is Ozarks striping. They have a highway striping company.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you a story about Gabe Gross. I remember Doc Anderson. One of my favorite people. He's a legend in Troy, and now Doc's going to tell you what he thinks, and so he's
no question about that.
And so some people are going to think that Doc might rub him the wrong way, but I enjoy him. Well, he was the trainer forever at the Alabama-Mississippi High School All-Star game.
Yeah.
So Doc goes down there doing his training duties the year that Gabe Gross, Alabama has 2 quarterbacks, Gabe Gross and Tyler Watts. Tyler Watts is the most hyped high school football prospect since Joe Namath.
He really was.
So he goes down there, and then he comes back, and I see Doc. And I said, well, what did you think? He said, I tell you. He says, Gabe Gross is better. I mean, he's hardly ever even heard. He said, Tyler Watts isn't any better than the guy, this other guy. Well, Gabe Gross.
Tyler Watts played for Rick Rhodes, too.
Sure did.
Tyler was good, don't get me wrong. But the point was that Gabe was really good, and he only played quarterback at Auburn 1 year. And
he started against Alabama.
With a sorry offensive line on a sorry team, and he took a lot of punishment. But you think if he would have stuck it out and played quarterback at Auburn for 4 years, he would have been really good.
He was a good football.
Well, he made the right.
I like Doc a lot too, but if they made the remake of Grumpier Old Man, Doc would have a lead role.
You're probably right, Mike. But he's
I'm good friends with Doc's son, John Anderson, and John and Doc are total opposites. It's crazy.
But they're all good people, though, no question about it. And
Doc went to he was at Troy as the track coach and the trainer back when Coach Bradshaw was coach. And then he went to LSU for a long time.
Yeah,
he
was under Arnsberger.
But that's when he got to know Dale Brown too.
Yeah.
He got to know all of them.
He was good friends with he was real good friends with Orangeburger, and I reckon that's probably how he got back at LSU.
He came back to Troy. Boy, he has a pretty yard and house on Murphy Street in Troy. He works on it all the time. I see him, and I like people that fix up the houses on Murphy Street, Orange Street,
yes, sir.
College Street, Walnut Street, West Walnut.
I don't know if you looked at Troy Life this week, and it's got Coach, the football coach at Troy's family. It's Coach Summerall, and it's beautiful, beautiful family, 4 children, wife, and but in this magazine, Rice, is a glimpse of. There's
Billy and Laura.
Billy and Laura. But let me show you this. They show all these beautiful old homes in Troy, and if I'll get around to it, I'll show it to you. But this magazine can be you can find it in numerous places. Look here.
Yeah.
Here is a list of your top 10 old.
Nicholas Christen wrote that article, and he's really become kind of like the town historian. He's got a great interest in local history, and I applaud him for all he's doing to
and the Bashinsky house,
promote Troy history,
is being taken over by the Saunders, and they're building a show place there at Bashinsky Manor.
Brian Saunders, the baby Saunders.
Yeah, that's right. And
I say that he's 6'7". I see him walking. I come into work, Mike, and I see Brian out walking on Walnut Street and getting his morning exercise.
A beautiful street too.
But he is doing a lot of work on the Bashinsky house, for sure.
Then of course the.
I tell you what, I just had to yell at 2 older adults with a dog that decide to walk through my yard when I have a fence, I have a picket fence, I have a chain in front of a beach truck. I mean, come from the back of my house. I mean, where in the world? I mean, this is what you deal with in Great Beach because people are on vacation. But where in the world do you think it's a good idea to walk through somebody's yard?
I know you're right.
When they have a fence.
And then,
I mean, I just had to get off the phone and go chew out a guy out my yard and his wife.
Well, don't
get walking through my yard with a dog. When I have a white picket fence, a beach truck in front of it, a chain in front of the truck, I have my car in the back parking on the back street.
Well, let's get off to another.
And I have signs up. I'm just saying, where in the world is that normal behavior?
Yeah.
Somebody walk through your backyard.
Yeah, well, it's happened, but especially if you got it blocked off.
That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, don't you think that's insane behavior by 2 people probably in their 60s?
Yeah, maybe so. Want to mention our show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram Trucks in Troy, Alabama, and of course my good friend Jason and his staff are ready for you with some rock bottom prices on some wonderful cars and trucks at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep. Remember this. Nobody beats the Premier deal. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to our show, brought to you by our good friends at Bird Drugs,
in
Troy, Alabama.
Talking about the historic homes on College Street, I see that there's no longer a for sale sign on the Charles Henderson.
It had been sold.
The Mr. O'Neills lived in for so long.
It has been sold. I don't. The people are from out of town or what.
All right.
So
well, hopefully they'll get it and fix it up even more.
They sure will. And it's some beautiful homes on that street, and I enjoy riding down the street or walking down the street. It's just a beautiful place.
Well, the exciting thing is so many people are restoring these homes, and then the parallel street to that is West Walnut Street, which a lot of people have fixed up houses on that street. You know, I didn't know this until recently. The principal at Charles Henderson High School, Coach Miss Faison, and then Coach Faison, the basketball coach, you know where they live?
Where?
They live in Dr. Buddy Brantley's old medical office.
They redid that.
They redid that.
Yeah.
I would have never thought in a million words, you transition a former doctor's office into a house, but I know it's really cool, and they're good at that.
And they did the same thing to Dr. Stewart's office, if you think about it. He had that other up the street on the left. And then, of course, my ear, nose, and throat doctor, who I think is one of the great people around, he's renovated that old home to make it beautiful on Walnut Street.
One of those houses up there near the old elementary school was my great-great-grandmother's, Mama Ethel Chapman, that raised all the Chapman boys, Bill, Hickey, Corley, Dan. But that house has now been purchased and turned into a show place. This is something we need to encourage. I mean, you take these streets that are starting to have run-down houses, and then 10 years later, they're all becoming show places.
You're exactly right. And to me, it's a sounding board to people out there that want to upgrade their home. And a lot of people are looking at Troy to buy a home.
It must, and it's not just Troy. It's Goshen. It's Brundage, I would say. It's Banks. It's places in the country.
Yeah.
I think this is I think people are. It's one of the big stories of our day. Is people are trying to get out of these high tax, high regulation, high cost of living, high crime states, and they're looking for places like Pike County.
Yeah. Well, let me say this: Monarcos is moving to downtown Brundage, and you talk about going to be a lot of traffic in downtown Brundage at night with an excellent.
If I was Bill Gates or somebody like that,
they already have a location in Lee Vern.
And they're fixing to have one in Brundage, and
if I was Bill Gates or the Yellow Man, or I would be buying up real estate in Brundage, Alabama. I mean, right now, just every house, every piece of land. Because it could be a little. It once was, and just coming back, a little iconic, charming Mayberry.
Yeah. But this is an excellent magazine to see all these old homes, and sort of also a magazine to welcome the Summerall family to Troy. And I know
Dan Smith took that photo. Isn't that a good photo?
Oh, he's the best. He does an outstanding job, his wife is doing a lot of writing a lot of columns in the paper, and most of them relate to great people of the past.
Yes. What a talented family. Yeah. Where would we be without that family?
I want to mention my good friends at Green Hills Funeral Home, and of course Chrissy and Benny, and they just add a lot of class to that program and that business right here on the Highway 10.
Earl's Auto Glass, what a great business for a long time.
Well, and of course
Cinco Drugs.
We got the Wells Fargo golf tournament going on up in. I think they moved it actually. I think it's around Maryland this week. You got Roy McIlroy playing. He's already 4 under today. So that tournament started up today. Next week you got a major. You got the PGA Championship next weekend.
You think Scotty Scheffner is going to play this week? You think he's going to play?
I would like to be in outside of Washington D.C. right now. It's 49 degrees.
I heard it was a little cool right now.
More global warming.
Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, he's number one golfer in the world.
He's not playing this week, but yeah, I mean he's going to play in the PGA Championship. The big news for the PGA Championship is Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods are both going to play.
Are they going to play?
Well, I mean they both have registered to play in the tournament. Tiger Woods played a practice round up there last week, so you got to think Tiger's going to play.
I was watching to see how much money these guys make, and it shows me right here that Matthias Schwab is the 288th ranked golfer in the world, and he's already made $783,000. Can you believe that? That was the 100th player on the tour already made $780,000. Would you think would you want your son to be a golfer?
Well, yeah, but you know what I always say.
You got the Hamrick kid. I mean, he I guess was probably born in Troy.
Yeah.
And he played at the University of Alabama. I don't know if he played on the national championship team maybe one year or not. But,
Yeah, I think he did.
you know, he's a kid that played on the mini tours, and I don't know if he ever made it the Corn Ferry Tour, but it just tells you how hard it is to make the PGA Tour.
Well, the other thing about golf is you don't make the cut. You don't make any money, and you've swallowed all those expenses. All these people like Hunter used to be, they have to have sponsors that even let them get to the tournaments. It's tough. And then what we don't never know is how much the government takes in taxes, and if you can get to the top 30 or 40 echelon, you are set. But a lot of these, what's the book that the guy wrote about A Good Walk Spoiled, the great author? He focused not on the stars of the PGA Tour, but the guys at the bottom that were struggling to get their tour card and keep it. And it was the drama that these people went through was actually riveting. That they had so much stress just trying to make a living out there on the PGA Tour. Now it's changed a little because the purses are so much bigger. But it's a tough life too.
Well, you baseball fans can get ready for a big weekend of Major League Baseball, and the Yankees are 18-6. They lead all of the Major League teams in wins with 18 wins already this year. And then of course
the Braves beat the Mets yesterday. They're still under 500 though. They're struggling.
Did you know you can listen?
Trading Freddie Freeman before the season like that, I feel like it's still a real blow to the Braves, and especially their fan base. I mean, you're talking their most legendary player since Chipper Jones is all of a sudden now playing for the Dodgers, and they're coming off winning a World Series. I feel like a lot of Braves fans are still shocked.
Do you know what I was bringing up, that now you can listen to all Braves baseball on WTBF radio. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
you can they're on the radio. They come before.
Yeah, I think I do.
They play the Braves down here on Panama City Beach radio too.
And they, which they need radio. They need that. Yeah.
I think they also have the Feinbaum show.
Yeah, the Feinbaum. Usually
it preempts it when the Braves play in the afternoon.
That's right. It preempts it when they play I listen to that's on Troy Radio too. You know, that you can listen to that. We hope that you've enjoyed our show today, and of course we'll be watching very closely as Pike Liberal Arts gets ready to play for another state championship. It'll be the 4th straight championship, and we hope to be talking to more people about that this week.
Yeah, congratulations to making the state finals for the 5th year.
Yeah, that's right, and of course their coach, young coach, has been really outstanding, and it's going to be a real great story to tell about this great.
Another point about Pike Liberal Arts, Mike, is this will be their final game.
That's right.
In the Alabama Independent School Association. After that, they'll all be Alabama High School Athletic
You're exactly right, and that's a big move, and we'll be talking about it more and more on this show. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.